Now let's finish this lesson with the nested if statements, right? Most developers that struggle with nested if statements struggle because they don't use the debug tool, right? So I have already showed you how to debug line by line, how to control your execution flow. So now it's the time where you use it, okay? Because if you don't, you are going to struggle. So basically we have here an if statement with 3 comparisons. Let's take this OR comparison out of here to make easier for you to understand the nested if, right? So now we have this condition: if the person is older than 18 and has a driver's license, the person can drive. Simple as that, right? But life is not simple as that. It's not only basically 2 criteria that defines if something can be done or not. In general, it's like a group of criteria, right? Especially in programming, right? So life's not that easy. If it was that easy, anyone would be a good programmer. All right. So in this case, let's add some complexity here. So what about these 2 criteria being older than 18 and having a driver's license would be only the entry point of our analysis. So if the person meets these 2 criteria, we are going to ask the person to type its driver's license, right? So input type, please type your DL number, right? So if the person is 18 years old or older and has a driver's license, we are not telling that the person can drive. We are asking the person to type the number of its driver's license. And we are going to get this number and store into a variable. So DL number receives the result of this, right? So the person is going to type, we are going to store temporarily here, and instead of telling that the person can drive, we are going to perform another if statement here to check if this driver's license number that the person typed is valid. Make sense? Right? So ask the person the driver's license number. Here we are going to validate if check, in case it's better, check if the drivers, the DLs, is valid. So let's pretend that valid driver's licenses have 7 digits. Okay, so if we want to discover how many digits some string have, how many characters in this case a string has, we can use the function len. All right, so len, we can pass as a parameter the variable that has the data, so DL number. So basically this returns the amount of characters that this data has. So we hypothetically are validating, right? So we are pretending that a valid driver's license has 7 characters. So if the return of this, that is basically the number of characters that this data has, is equals to 7, now we can here print that the person can drive. All right, so name can drive. Else print your DL looks fake. All right, so this is not a how do I say, business rule. This is not a true validation rule. All right, I don't know how to validate a driver's license, basically. Okay, but let's pretend that valid driver's licenses have 7 digits. Okay, so if len DL number is equals to 7, if the amount of characters of these data that the user inputted here is equal 7, the person can drive, because we assume that it has a valid driver's license. But if it doesn't have this amount of characters, we're going to say that it looks fake. Okay, so let's save it, let's run, and Felipe can't drive. Why? Let's see the data. So Felipe doesn't have a driver's license. So let's put true here. Now Felipe has a driver's license. Let's see what happens. So it already passes here and asked us to type the driver's license. So let's type. My driver's license is 1223-ABC. Let's see if I can drive. Felipe can drive. Let's do it again. Please type. Oh, my driver's license is blah blah blah. UDL looks fake. So that's the power of a nested if, and we could improve this. We could put another if inside of this. So for example, what is the expiration year of the driver's license? DL expires at 2026. Let's see this. Let's put another if here. So we are going to check if the DL is not expired. So if DL expires at what year we are now, 2026, so expires if the expiration date is greater or equals than 2026, we can print name can drive. Alright, forgot to put colon here. So if the expiration year is greater or equals than these years, it means that it's not expired, right? So the person can drive. but let's put else here and print your DL is expired, right? You can see that we have three ifs, one inside the other and the other inside of the other. This is basically the nested if structure. Alright, so let's run, let's see what happens. Please type your DL 123-ABC. Felipe can drive because the expiration date of my driver's license is equals 2026, right? But what if my expiration date was 6 years ago? Let's see what happens. Type your DL number 123-ABC. Your DL is expired. Can you see this? So basically, that's how nested ifs work. Remember, here in this nested if, I'm only using one criteria, but I could use many ones. Inside of this, I could use many ones. I could use, in fact, instead of two if else's, I could take this off and put both criteria here. You know, like expires at here using and. Can you see this? Let's erase this. So my code now is shorter. I'm evaluating both. So my driver's license number must be valid, and also the expiration date must be greater than this year for me to be able to drive. This is another way to expressing this logic, but all of these are hypothetical, right? When you are writing code, you need to understand the rules and the flows to write them. But here I'm showing you how to use the nested ifs, alright? So to finish this, let's try again. What's my DL number? 123/ABC. Your DL looks fake. Why does my DL look fake? Let's see. So 123ABC. In this case, we have a problem because I'm evaluating the two conditions and the else is global for the both of them. So doesn't make any sense this error, this else, because it only went to this else because of the condition that is related to the expiration date and not these right here. So I must change this. So just you can't drive, right? So in this case, please type your DL number 123ABC. You can't drive. Why? My driver's license has 7 digits. Okay, but it's expired. Okay, so these are some examples. Put this in practice and let's go to the next lesson. That's it for today. These are some of the real interviews that I recorded to show you how real companies interview developers from inside. Use them to prepare for real interviews and get the job of your dreams. Go to marosacademy.com or click the link below.